Clear to play. MiniWarGaming's Beat Map Batrep.
Welcome back to Beat Map Batrep, Season 2, Episode 10, Necrons vs. Tyranids. We're in Round 2, Tyranids Turn 2. So rolling for reserves, the first Carnifex does not come in, the second Carnifex does not come in, the Pyrovore does come in. I'm hoping that at least one group of Lictors will come in, that'll help me next turn, but they both roll 1s. So we have the Mycetic Spore dropping in. I like these things because it's very hard to mishap with them. And then the Pyrovore comes out. A nice big clump of guys there for him to hit with his Strength 5 AP 4 Flamer. So the Pyrovore looks like it'll actually be very decent as an anti-Necron usage. I only had one of them, although in hindsight now I think I would bring 2 or 3 in a Spore Pod. Everybody else is just moving up. The Gargoyles are going to try to tie up a group of Warriors. And then these Warriors are going to try to move up and do some damage. What's left of these Hormagaunts are going to charge up into these Warriors to try to kill them. Dropping a blast into them scatters completely off the swarms, which is too bad because it would have insta-killed them. All the Death Spitters then fire in, but the Death Spitters aren't nearly as effective against swarms, only managing 1 wound, or 2 wounds, which he fails. So they're down to 1. Now he decided to go to ground against it because I was probably going to charge him anyways. Direct hit from the Heavy Venom Cannon, which inflicts 5 wounds, 1 of which he saves, so that's 4 of these which are dead. Now the rules aren't very clear what happens with blasts that are going to insta-kill. And so the commonly accepted thing is that you insta-kill, you don't double the wounds and instant-kill. So that's what we're going with here. Firing into the Immortals, it scatters off, so the Venom Cannon does nothing. Death Spitters do fire though, and manage a few hits, but fails to take any of them down. I whiffed the roll pretty badly with the Heavy Flamer there, taking only 3 of the Warriors down. And then he gets to roll his Reanimations Protocol, and 2 of them come back. So that's 5 Necrons in total, 65 points so far. So 65 points isn't too bad. Mycetic Spore fires in. He does have Twin Link Death Spitters as well. I did upgrade him with that. And he really fails to do much. He does a couple wounds there. So 2 of the Warriors go down from that. Then he rolls Reanimation Protocols and fails both of those. So it seems it's going back and forth with Reanimation Protocols, which is the way it should be. Now I make a bit of a mistake here. I think, hey, I'm going to multi-assault into these Lich Guard, because if I can win combat and they all run away, I can do a lot of damage. Not really thinking about the fact that although Hormagaunts are good in close combat, when there's only 7 or 8 of them left, they don't nearly have as much punch to them. So you're going to see what happens with that mistake there. So the Hormagaunts do charge in. The Warriors charge in, trying to finish off these swarms before they can get multi-assaulted. The Hormagaunts start to attack. They do get lots of attacks against the Warriors, lots of hits, a bunch of wounds, and he fails fails half of those. So 3 of the Warriors do go down. And then against the Lich Guard, it's a little harder because although I do hit a lot, and I only wound 3, and he does have a 3+ save. He only fails 1 of those, so only 1 Lich Guard goes down. And of course, the Lich Guard alone have 2 attacks each for that Strength 7 ignoring armor, which is going to do a lot of damage. But the Warriors go first, inflicting 4 wounds, so 4 of these Hormagaunts are gone, so you can kind of see that this squad is not going to survive, which is too bad. If I had gone against the Warriors only, I might have been able to hold on there for a little longer. Another Hormagaunt goes down from the Cryptek, and then the Lich Guard, of course, start to swing their big war size and take out the rest of the Hormagaunts, which means he gets to roll his Reanimation Protocols for these guys. So he gets 3 of them here, he rolls, and fails all 3. So at least those guys stay down. The Lich Guard also fails, because he only has a 5+, there's no Lord with Resurrection Orb in that group. Warriors then get to hit again against this group, only 1 attack each at this point. Sorry, not Warriors, Gargoyles. Only take down 2 of them though, so only 2 casualties there. So this combat's kind of a standstill as it stands. And then the Warriors hit back and managed to wound 4, and I saved 3. Right there you've seen some combat resolution. We had forgotten that the Overlord hadn't attacked yet, and so he went next. And so we resolved that at the same time. And so I think I lost 5 in total. So he wins combat, and actually gets another Warrior back, so that's 6 in total. 78 points worth of Necrons have come back. The Warriors then attack these swarms and try to do as much damage as they can, but there are a lot of wounds there that they have to take down. But they manage to take down 2 and knock 2 wounds off of another one of the swarms. Swarms do get to hit back, but they hit on 5s, and so they only manage a couple wounds. But I do fail to save both of those wounds, so that is definitely 2 less combat resolution wounds that he has to take, being fearless. Still loses a bunch of them though, so the swarms have been whittled down quite a bit. And that guy that they knocked down 2 wounds, of course, he loses his armor save because they have the Entropic Touch. So the one has no armor save, which we'll actually see something interesting happen here when the Flayed Ones decide to attack. rapid fired into the Pyrovore, trying to take it down. Only has 2 wounds, but it makes 5 out of 6 of its armor saves, so it's taken down to 1 wound. The Cryptek then fires and misses. So they have to draw another squad's of fire into this Pyrovore. Manage 4 wounds, and he saves all 4. So 2 full groups of rapid firing, and he survives that. Immortals then fire at the warriors, but fail to do any wounds. And even the Lord gives his hand at that, and he fails as well. The Monolith then fires and gets a direct hit on this group of warriors. I allocate 1 of the 3 wounds that he does onto the Prime, and he makes his save, and the other one makes his save as well, but 1 warrior does go down to an instant death from the Necron Monolith. Flayed Ones charge in, the Lich Guard charge into the warriors. I get to strike him first, of course. The Prime, having a strength 5, has the best chance of doing some damage. I inflict 3 wounds, and he only fails 1 save. Then my warriors attack, and they do pretty well with their hitting, but not so well with their wounding. Only 1 wound, but he does fail that save, so that's nice that he managed to fail that, even though there's only 1 wound there. But he does hit back on the regular guys, and inflicts 7 wounds in total, so kills 2 of the warriors and hurts another one, and then attacks the Prime as well. I take all my fearless attacks, and both of them survive down to 2 wounds, or 1 wound each. He fails both his reanimation protocol, so that's a bit of a loss for him. And then attack the swarms in close combat, managing to take down a lot of wounds, killing 2 of the swarms, so he only has 1 swarm left. Then attacking the Flayed Ones, who have lots of attacks in the charge, but I do manage to knock down 3 of them. He fails 3 of the saves there. But he does get to hit back, and he has 15 attacks there. He doesn't roll very well for the number of attacks, inflicts a few wounds. Now the interesting thing is the way I allocated it is the saves were rolled on the other warriors, who still had a save, but when they failed it killed the guy without a save. So that's an interesting kind of side effect of all the different rules here. Now we make a big mistake here. We think the Flayed Ones are fearless, which they are not. So they take 6 extra wounds, and they fail 5 of them, and they all die. Really, they should have had to make a leadership test on 7 or less, and if they had made that, I would have been tied in combat. So that was a serious mistake there that cost 5 Flayed Ones, but it's possible they would have died anyways, but it's hard to know. So Flayed Ones are not fearless, just remember that. The Gargoyles then attack and manage to only take down 2 of his warriors. So having a hard time against this group here. They're proving to be very hardy. But hitting back, they only manage 3 wounds, and I do save 2 of those. So only 1 dies. His main guy, I can't remember the name of the guy, manages another wound, and I make it. So he has to make a leadership test, which he does pass. He gets 2 of his reanimation protocols, which he fails. So they're slowly being whittled down here. End of round 2. I've definitely got the right flank, and he's definitely got the left flank, as you can see here. But the Pyrovore survived, and he's going to be able to move up and drop a Strength 5 AP4 Flamer onto a large group of warriors. So definitely looking forward to seeing what happens with that. The Gargoyles and the warriors here locked in combat, just whittling each other down, not really thinking any decisive there. The Lich Guard really killing those warriors, and then the warriors really killing the swarms and the Flayed Ones, although that was a mistake. It's possible that they would have survived all of that. Monolith hasn't done too much yet. Managed to kill, I think, a Gargoyle and a warrior. So stay tuned for part 3. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and click on the annotation. If you're on MiniWarGaming, click the link below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below on who you think is going to win based off what you've seen so far.